It's just the air won't do it.
Oh, okay.
Because I bought the smallest version at the time.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right. Well,
it worked amazing. But
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about building a network. You can restart it if you want. I started this over a minute ago, so we're just gonna kind of roll into it. I don't care about doing the intros anymore. So because obviously I can't do them. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about building a network.
Okay.
Both within the business space, within the personal space, but also not just within your industry, but outside of your industry, and a network of all types of people. So a lot of people think when you talk about networking that it has to be specifically somebody that's involved in your industry, right?
Oh yeah, okay. I get what I was like.
You see what I'm
where
saying?
are you going?
Right. So the absolute best example that I can come up with is exactly what we're doing right now. So you and I are doing a podcast in this amazing studio, right? And it's not our studio. In case anybody thought it was, this isn't ours.
No.
But I have built a network of individuals that trust me based on the work that I've provided for them in the past, right? So I built this studio 2 years ago, I think. And the individual that I built it for, when I mentioned to him, hey, my brother and I are thinking about starting a podcast. And because of our relationship and, his trust in me, given the work that I provided him, because not only did I build this studio, but he owns this whole building, which is multiple units. I've remodeled every single unit in this building and now lease a space from him, in the very far side of the building. Mm-hmm. And every time he needs something, he calls me because he knows, A, I'm going to get it done. There's not going to be any question about, is the contractor going to show up? Is he going to, if I pay him a deposit, is he going to come back? Is it going to be done right? None of that. He doesn't have any of those questions when he hires me. So over the past couple of years, I've built a relationship with this man to where if I've got an issue or questions about anything in his area, I can go to him and ask, and he'll just, help me. But also when I came to him and said, hey, my brother and I are thinking about starting a podcast, is it okay if I use one of the office spaces next to me? Because I'm leasing one office space. Is it okay if I use one of the empty office spaces for an hour every other day on the weeks, in the morning before people even get here? They're empty. Is it okay if I just use it to shoot a podcast? I use it as a studio. And he goes, you could, or you could use the really nice studio that you built for us. And I said, well, that's, I wasn't asking for that at all. And that wasn't even, my only thought was, he's got an empty office over here. You and I can sit down in there and talk, and it shouldn't affect anybody, They're not using it. And then he offered us to use this, and because we're here so early in the morning, it doesn't affect anything that he's doing. He has no problem letting us in here.
It's ironic, and I know I'm not trying to pull topic already.
Trying to shift away.
But geez, I was thinking about this on the drive over. I'm so glad we decided to do this after we've built businesses. Vice, and I mean, we're nowhere, done
I
yet.
Understand what you're saying.
But it would have been so much different if we would have tried to do this 3 years ago, the moment we started building the business.
Oh, yeah.
And yet, the timing.
Yeah, so, again, that's a perfect example of building a network of people that aren't specific to your industry, because you never know, who's able to either refer you to somebody or what might come of having those people in your network. So, I've got people that I met from real estate investing, because I've been to a couple of events for that. I've met people, obviously, in the construction industry. This individual that is allowing us to use this space is primarily in the education industry, right? So it doesn't matter where they are. It just matters that you provide services to prove to them to build trust, right? And you have to be able to offer these people something if you want to build a network, right? You have to offer them something for free, which we had just talked about not doing things for free, but it's There's a give and take.
So it's offering it for free because there could be return value.
Right.
And that's the thing is, I don't want to be doing free stuff for someone who is only looking for free stuff.
Right.
That's the caveat to that. Provide value where you believe the value will be returned.
Let me take a step back. I think I got ahead of myself there. Because again, this individual I've never done anything for free for him. Every single time that he asks me to do something, I give him a price. And he either says, let's do it, or he says, you know what, not right now, we're going to wait on that.
But that caveats to what we were saying in the last podcast, to where, I think like two episodes ago.
Yeah, whichever one.
Where the people that you usually get, you charge, they give you other referrals that will charge.
Yes.
And you're dealing with higher quality of individuals when you're doing that, which means there's more. If you provide a higher quality of work, which we've already talked about, we do, that means that the value is there for them to go, okay, hey, look, this is a trustworthy individual.
Yes.
I can offer out multiple other avenues.
Exactly. So, as far as networking is concerned, it's not necessary that you have to provide free services. Mm-mm. However, if it is somebody far outside of your network, like we were talking about last time, I think, is like getting noticed or recognized by somebody that wouldn't normally. So, like you had mentioned Grant Cardone, or like, I don't know what a good example is for somebody who might not be following real estate people, but, and let's say The Rock.
Okay, I was just going to say,
right?
It was just on my phone. I was just going to say that.
So let's say The Rock, right? If you say, I want this guy in my network, I'm not saying this will work for The Rock, okay? He's very busy, but like, for example, if somebody like that, if you wanted to get them in your network, you have to provide them with something of value, and it's got to be high value. And you're not expecting anything in return at all.
Definitely for him. You got to go find a personalized gift and go give him a $50,000, $60,000 gift and hope that catches his attention.
Yeah, so now like you're saying gift. I don't want people to be confused. It means you got to spend $50,000 and give this man a gift. But you have to give him something that's worth that much. You know what I mean? Or something. It's got to be worth something to him, right? So, for example, I went to a real estate.
Well, you know what? I'm going to pull back and say, if you're dealing with someone with The Rock, you're going to have to spend money to get in front of him. If you're just dealing with your local millionaire, if you provide him a website, like let's say you're just your graphic designer.
You're going into exactly what I was just about to say, so go ahead.
If you're, in that sense, you're a graphic designer, you're building out, let's say, a pizzeria for a chain. You build out an amazing website and an ability for them to go online and order them because they've just been brick and mortar the entire time, stuck in the old ways. You bring that to him and go, here's the value, I want to work with you. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking. That's what I believe we're talking about here.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you find something of theirs that you think you could improve upon, do it for free and show them that you're worth, or what you're worth and what your capabilities are. And that's how you get, new clients, new network. That's how you get those people. I'm trying to think of a good example of when I've done that to reach somebody that I wasn't necessarily. Have you ever done any of that?
I literally just did it. A few days ago. I just got a new client, a new insurance agency in the same realm that I'm doing, but they jumped on the phone with me, not to dig into what we were going at, but I provided them value and showed them that they were overpaying for a service that they could go in and copy paste. Mm-hmm. And they saw that, and then they offered me the ability to work with them because of that. It wasn't even the whole reason why we were on the phone, but I was able to show them that, and I was like, hey, how are you guys doing that right now? I asked one question just to see if I could provide value, provided the value, and then it got me the ability to work with them. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Just simply by asking one extra question and giving that 30 seconds of my knowledge.
Exactly.
But I knew that would save them an additional $5,000.
Yes. So, and again, the types of people in your network don't have to be industry specific, i.e., this one. However, it is also good to have people specific to your industry because they might know. It's hard for you. It multiplies, right? So if one person could turn into a bunch of business, but also a bunch of saved money. You know what I mean? Like
I call it a one-to-many market, and that's networking in general. But just because I try to provide as much high intent value to the individuals in my network, because most of the people I'm networking with, they have a network of millionaires as well. Mm-hmm. So me getting in with that one person, if I have an issue, he can usually then touch his network.
Yes. So that's actually a good point. We should touch on that a little bit, which is, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the saying, your network is your net worth, right?
Yeah.
So, or
that's an understatement.
If
that's
you,
an understatement.
Yeah. If there is, what's the other one? If you, what is it? Show me 4 people, or
no, show me the 5 people that you surround yourself with, and I show you where you'd be at in 5 years.
Well, yeah, but there's one that's like, if you show me 4 stupid people, I'll show you the 5th or something, right? Because you're the 5th.
Okay.
That's the thing. If you surround yourself with people who aren't going to go anywhere, they're not aspiring to be better, then that's exactly where you will be, right? So this is a great topic for us, because how do you get out of that, right? How do you get yourself away from those people that are detrimental and get in front of the people that aren't?
Oh, you joined the military.
I don't know. That's not.
No. I mean, and I'm saying that for our scenario because we were in a very small town. And this is perfect for us because we did not have a network growing up. We had maybe 1 or 2 business owners we associated with that were in construction, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, our network was not very
Okay. All right, I'll let you
very
keep going.
good.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So we had to leave where we were. Mm-hmm. Obviously, our out was the military. Now, other people's outs, like our sister, she moved down here.
Well, that alone. If you're in a small town, leave that small town. Doesn't have to be forever.
No, exactly.
But leave that small town. Go see something else.
You will learn so much. That small town is just a glimpse of what the world is.
Yeah, and it is, a lot of people, I think a lot of people in our friend group and age group finally left, but before that it was like, they stay in that town for their whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a percentage that would leave, but for the most part, they all stayed within.
And if it was
50
growing,
miles.
it'd be different. But
Yeah.
it's a dying community where we grew up. But to digress, to move on from that, it's simply we didn't really have a network.
Yes.
Within the military, I just worked all the time. I'll be honest. I just was a workaholic. So I didn't really have that many friends. And I say friends, network, that type of ordeal. I probably gained maybe like 5 people from the military, which is very rare. Most people gain 30, 40. Like they know a lot of people. It's just
Me.
I stayed in my office all day.
Yeah.
But then coming down here to Florida, knowing absolutely nobody.
Yep.
A lot of opportunity, but I didn't know where to join in. So it took me 3 years to build a network that was sustainable. And as soon as I really started expanding my network, which was really when I started to expand my insurance agency, as soon as I started doing that, within 6 months, everything changed.
Yeah. So let's kind of go back. Small town, right? The best advice that we could give you is to leave that small town, even if it's for college. If you go for 2-4 years somewhere else, different state, get out of that. Get out, again, to touch back on last episode, get out of your comfort zone, right? Doesn't have to be forever. Go back. That's fine. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, it's just if you get out of it, you can see from a different perspective. And anyway, but where does your mindset shift? Because you had just said friends, you have 5 friends, network, and then you said / network, right, from the Marine Corps. Where does your mindset shift? When did it shift? Because mine in the Marine Corps, I think networking, no, that didn't, building a network wasn't a thing. It was, I've got some friends, I've got some great brothers, really, because, you build a relationship with some of those people. I say brothers, I also mean sisters, but anyway, you build a network, or you build a relationship with these people that's lifelong and whatever. But I wasn't thinking, networking is important. I need a network. When does your mindset shift to switch from gaining friends to building a network? When did that happen for you?
As soon as I realized you need to know people in business to make money.
Right, which wasn't in the Marine Corps at all, right?
No.
Same for me. It wasn't until a couple years after the Marine Corps where I thought the difference between network and friends.
Yeah,
right?
no. And I'm not saying the Marine Corps taught me that stuff, but the Marine Corps got me out of the little town, that little situation we were in.
Which allowed us to look at things differently.
Exactly.
So, but that, say you don't leave the small town. You can still build a network, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we weren't thinking that way when we were that young, which is okay. Again, when you're a teenager, have some fun, guys. You don't need to be. However, if I could have started earlier, I would have. I still would have had some fun, but I would have started.
But that's the crazy thing is, if I would have started networking earlier, I wouldn't have been able to provide any value.
Yes. Okay. Agree. Yeah, because we, along the way,
I would have just been that sleazy kid who was trying to just force his way in there, and we all know that kid in the room who just should not be there.
Right. So how, for the people listening, like, this is the big question that we should answer, which is, how do you get away? If you're listening to this and you're thinking, because I've been there, actually not long ago I was there, where I'm thinking, wow, the 5 people that you hang out with the most, look at all of them. Are they go-getters? Are they trying to improve themselves every day? If they're not, how do you get out of it, right? Mm-hmm. How do you take those steps to get out of that?
I'm a little bit different than most people, and you know this. I spend a lot of time by myself, and I'm still in the group that I'm in. I'm the go-getter. I'm the forefront. I'm not in this. The people that I associate with, I wouldn't change it. Mm-hmm. They are hard workers,
right?
But they're not. I wouldn't say that, like, they're locked in 95. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say that, they may say they want to do something, right?
Yeah.
But the moment you say that and actually do it, that taking action is completely different. So, if I look around, I don't like, and I'm trying to, like, self-evaluate at the same time here, to where it's like looking at the top 5. They're all go-getters in the sense of work ethic. Mm-hmm. But if you look at personal development, I don't know.
Yeah. Thinking
about it.
So here's my take on this, right? How do you get out of that slump that you're in? If you look at your 5, the 5 people that you spend the most time with, if you're like me, it's mainly family members, right? So it's my wife, you, Carissa, our sister, and then, I mean, we don't really have friends that we spend, we don't hang out with friends outside.
And that's a good point. It's like, and I get it, not that many people have a brother that will, like, that has the same amount of drive that's right. Okay, hey, look, we're going to go no matter what. I don't care if no one's with me. And that's another association, is the top 5 is very important. But at the end of the day, I'm going forward no matter what.
So that's what I'm trying to get to here. So you look at the top 5 people, right? So, like, and this is absolutely normal behavior for everybody, okay? Where you have a job, 9 to 5, you get done at 5, and you want to go home and relax. So you sit down, you watch TV, you make dinner, take care of your kids, put them to bed, go to sleep, right? That's normal, which is how my wife enjoys, she wants to spend her time. And I completely agree with that sometimes, right? But like when you get stuck in that slump, right, for every day you're doing those same things and wasting, in my opinion, when I'm doing that, I don't feel good. I'm upset all the time. I'm miserable and I'm irritated, and so like I lash out. If my wife makes some minuscule mistake, I find myself getting upset. You know what I mean? Because I'm not producing or I'm not performing to my full potential, and it took me a long time to realize that. Like if I would get upset or get irritated with something, I thought I didn't know why. But I find out it's because I was not being active enough, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So how do I get out of that, right? I tell you, we're going to the gym at 3:30. I need help. I need accountability, right? So I make you get up with me. I was going, but I wasn't performing, okay? So I tell you, you're coming with me because there's no reason. We live right next to each other. Why aren't we both going to the gym, right? Makes sense. 2, this podcast has been really great, okay? Because it makes me want to do something. I love doing this podcast, so that gets me motivated to go out and do something. But then, at some point, I realized again that I was getting irritated, getting upset because I wasn't producing. So I just said, screw it, I'm going to start doing this. And those 5 people are either going to move with me, you know what I mean? Or I'm gonna run. Like that was it. So since then, my relationship with my wife has gotten a lot better. And this is a couple years ago. I used the gym and the podcast as recent examples, but a couple years ago, I'd say about 2 years ago, I really decided I'm just sick of this, right? I need to do something. And then because of that, I meet these other people. You know what I mean? And now I associate with other people that are outside of that. I go out and I went to a couple of networking events, which I don't necessarily recommend.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like that's not the way to build your network, in my opinion. I'll let you touch on that in a minute. Let me just finish up this thought before I forget it. They are interesting events, and I'm not going to say they're a complete waste of time because event
they have purpose, but the majority of people who go to them are there because
they want to look the part.
Exactly. They're lost in what exactly it takes to be what they're looking to be, which is, I get it. That's the point of the conferences, is to answer the questions, but there's a difference between just showing up to look like you do something and to really learn. And you can very quickly separate the two when you get in front of these people at these crowds.
Yeah, and again, it's not a complete waste of time. There are, maybe 5. I can think of 5 individuals. I went to 2 this last year, and there were thousands of people at each one of them. And I can think of 5 individuals that I will probably have on this podcast at some point because they're great. But of those, I probably met hundreds. And of those hundreds, 5 of them are worth meeting, and I still talk to. I have them, we discuss things. But, spending the money to go to those right out the gate is probably not the best bet. You know what I mean? If you're stuck in that slump and you want to change things, you need to. My first recommendation is to get an accountability partner. Okay, set up with somebody that's doing it better than you are, and ask them, hey, can you help me? Just hold me accountable. That's it. Let me check in with you every week. Once a week is how I would start, because just doing that makes you say, okay, well, this guy's going to expect this from me, so I need to produce. I need to show up, and then from there, it becomes much easier to take the next steps to do better and get outside of that network, right? And again, those 5 people you'll find will either.
Can I throw one thing in there? Mm-hmm. This is going for. I've had people do that with me, and I'm not. This is for some of my agents. They see how efficient I am, and then they go, "Well, can you more or less coach me and get me past that. I'm already so busy. I have no problem doing it, but you have to make it easy for me to do. And what I mean by that is if we plan on Saturday and let's just say no video link is set up. If you're trying to get better and you're trying to learn, make it easier on the people who are trying to do it. And I'm not saying that because I'm lazy. I'm saying that because there's 10,000 tasks. If you're trying to get helped out by somebody, provide that little bit of extra value to them to make it easy. Right. And it's going to do dividends. They'll give you more.
So, yeah, and by accountability partner, it doesn't even have to be somebody who's doing it better than you are. It just has to be somebody that also wants to change. You know what I mean? And that's how you start. If you're trying to go for somebody that's better than you are, then just like you said, make it easy for them. And don't ask them for coaching. Just say, hey, I want to be where you are in a year. Can I check in with you every week and share my thoughts with you? That's it. You don't have to provide feedback. I just need somebody to check in with. So every Friday, I'll send you an email that says, hey, this is my next week's goals. This is what I accomplished this last week. All I need you to do is say, get to work, right? Or got it, move on, or something. Or if I miss it, then just email me and say, what the hell, you missed? You're not doing anything? You're giving up already? You know what I mean? Just to keep that little bit of motivation in the back of your head. But that's if it's somebody outside of the people you know that is doing something better than you, they're probably busy. So you really just need somebody to check in with at first. That would be the first step. And then the second step would be looking for a mentor or a coach, right? And that sometimes you're going to have to pay for, but it's usually worth it.
And I want to touch on that real quick. The difference between a free coach and a paid coach. And I'm not saying you have to go spend $1,000 a month.
Right.
By any means. But usually when you pay for a service, it's tailored to you. And you know there's going to be certain things that are going to be provided no matter what. The free side is good while it lasts.
Right.
and I say that because I've seen that only last for so long until it's not a good thing, because as soon as someone's time is not valuable, it gets cut off quickly.
Right. And in order, along with that, paid versus free, there's a third option, which is, well, let's say, so you pay somebody to coach you or mentor you, or they offer you to do it for free, which is usually a bad idea. The third option is you ask them for a job.
I was just going to say, and you work for the knowledge. You work
for them for next to nothing if you're able to, right? You after hours, whatever you can do, you work for them, and with the agreement that you're going to learn from them, right? Which I technically did with the other guy, right? I learned, again, a lot of stuff that I needed to know and a lot of stuff that I didn't need to know, but I learned while working for him. That option is a great option, and it takes a little more time, but you're getting paid while you're doing it usually, right? Occasionally you don't get paid, but I've done that too, where I offer, again, my services for free in order to learn from that individual, which is, can sometimes not be replaced. So anyway, sometimes that cannot be replaced, right? So, for instance, right now I'm working on getting a pool license. So I am working with a pool contractor who's already building pools so that I can learn the whole step learn the whole process correctly. And I'm not getting paid anything. I'm just helping him manage projects for free so that I know how to build a pool so that when it's time to get my license, I can do it. You know what I mean? So I'm offering him my services for free. He's getting more work, making more money while I'm managing them and learning, right? So that is a sort of a coach or mentor, building my network, right? So I'm knocking out two birds with one stone. And then at the same time, it's going to pay me back by giving me the experience I need to get my license, right? So little things like that is how you get out of the slump that you're in, because I've been there, you know what I mean? And I know how irritated and miserable I was.
Go get a pool license.
Not a pool license, but that's, get yourself an accountability partner, do something that's uncomfortable, work on finding a coach or mentor, and then set yourself goals, which we'll probably talk about next time.
Just real quickly, when you go find network and go to find new networks, and you have to look at, you do a little self-evaluation. You're like, okay, hey, these are my friends now. Maybe I shouldn't be hanging out with them so much. You don't have to go to them and go, hey, we're done, everything. You don't have to,
No.
just cut it completely dry, but just understand the more you hang out with them, the more nuances that you take from them.
Right. And so, if all of your friends are hanging out every night playing video games, you're going to be hanging out every night playing video games, right? Instead of working on yourself. And, again, I said my 5 people are all family members. I still see every single one of them all the time. You know what I mean?
No,
I haven't stopped hanging out with any of those because, they're family.
You chose the lighter of the path, which was, okay, hey, I'm just going to elevate, so they're going to have to elevate with me.
Right, and some of them do and some of them don't, but that's fine because they're family, right? So it's a little bit different when it's not, your friends or whatever your network is. If it's your family, it makes it really hard to get out of that. And again, I know because I've done it and I'm still working on it. But you have to take those steps on your own, especially, this is going to be a controversial view, because especially if you're the man, right? If it's your wife and your kids and you're acting like garbage, it is your responsibility to set the example for those kids and lead them and your wife, in my opinion, right? That is my personal opinion, is that if we end up in a shitty situation, it's my fault, right? I put us there because I didn't lead us correctly, okay? So it is imperative that I do everything I can do to set up not only my kids, my wife, and myself for success. I don't want to make it sound like it's just for men, but that's the way that I feel is right now it is my responsibility to set my family up for success. And if there is any reason that we're not successful, it's my fault because I'm the one that's dropping the ball. Does that make sense?
You have a traditional viewpoint. Mm-hmm. That's it. You're good.
Yeah, but still, getting yourself out of that slump can be a very difficult thing to do, especially if it's family, because you're not going to walk away from your family. And like he said, you don't have to just shut off your friends that are not like that. However, you will find if you start making those changes, you're slowly going to distance yourself from them, and it's okay. It's a hard thing to do, but it's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you don't have to talk to them. It just, I still talk to my old friends. It's just,
we can
not as much as before. One of them still needs help. I'm still going to go. I'll still help them out.
Exactly. Yep.
But I'm not going to spend every day, because if I do that, then I'm not going to be able to work. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do to actually make money and provide for my family.
Right, and it's as simple as we can revert back all the way to, episode 3 for people pleasing, right? Where just saying no is not the end of the world, okay? If somebody gets mad at you for saying no, I'm sorry, I can't play video games tonight. I'm going to work on building a website for my company, or I'm going to work on building a business plan for my company.
If they can't see that vision for you at that point, I'm sorry, that should be an eye opener for you.
Yeah, exactly. If they're the ones that get upset when you say no, then guess what? They shouldn't be there anyway. But
they should be going, hey, do you need some help?
Yeah, and even if they don't, they say, most people just say, all right, no problem.
Have fun.
Yeah, we play video games. We run these businesses, but we also like to relax. We like to hang out, so we play video games. We just
choose one night a week.
That's it. We typically, I wait till my whole family's asleep. I wait till my wife and daughter's in bed, and then I stay up late and play video games. So it's easy because then I can sleep in. We do it on a weekend, so we're not waking up at 3 a.m. We're waking up at 6. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit easier. I get a couple extra hours of sleep. But
there's no way we're doing that on a weekday. Oh no.
No. So anyway, if you're having issues getting out of that slump, feel free to reach out to one of us, myself or him. He's what's your Instagram's at IUL Guru, right? And mine's pretty simple. It's at Chayton. So luckily I got on early enough and was able to steal that one. Anyway, reach out to one of us, and I'm sure one of us can give you some tips, as to how to get out of the situation that you're in. I know that I'm helping one individual right now who's really going through it. And it's as simple as every week he just checks in with me and says, hey, these are my goals for this week. And I'm kind of going a little bit further with him because he was a really close friend of mine. And he's got a lot of issues going on right now. So I'm going a little bit further, and actually, he sends me, this is what I want to accomplish this week, and I tweak it a little bit for him. I say, listen, this is a bit lofty. You don't want to set yourself up for failure. Let's dial that one back a little bit. Let's change this. And every week, it's like clockwork. I help him out, and he's doing a lot better, but sometimes you need that. It's okay. I've been there. I've hired people to do that for me in my business. The ones that I hired specifically didn't work out. It was kind of a waste of time, but I've done it. So if you need that, it's fine. But that's how you get out of that slump, to grow, build your network, and begin, producing the results that you want to produce. So anyway, I just wanted to I went a little bit crazy there, but we went a little bit over time, but it's fine. We're going to start shooting longer ones anyway. The new camera's right over there, by the way. It's not mine, but that's the one we're getting.
Okay.
So anyway, anything else you want to touch on before we shut her down? No? All right. Well, sounds good, guys. I guess we will close it out there and see you on the next one.